monthly competition. Welcome to our monthly competition. You guys are all muted, and we'll stay that way. We don't have business tonight, but I just wanted to remind everybody that we need topics. Matt needs your ideas for topics for next year so we can put them together and vote on them. So please get your topics in. You know, we can't complain about the topics if we're not participating in creating them. So please get your topics in. Lynn is a little under the weather tonight. She's with us, but she starts coughing when she talks too much, and no, she does not have COVID. It's something else. Thank goodness, Lynn. So I'm going to introduce the judge and do the slides this time. First, I want to read the competition topic, and then I will introduce Mike, and then Mike is going to show us a few of his images, and then we'll get right into the competition. So this is October, and our competition is sports photography. And the topic says, since not everyone photographs sports, we're keeping this topic broad and also including photographing games such as chess or cards. But whichever sports or game you choose, it's important that you show the sport or game being played. And that means you must have people in your photo participating in the sport or game. You can't just take an artistic picture of a chessboard, for instance. Now, if Mike sees anything like that, Mike, you can critique the photo, but you'll have to say this doesn't meet the topic, and it would have to be scored with a 6 so that it wouldn't be in the competition for an award. So let me go next to introducing Mike, our judge. Let me get to that screen. Mike Stefano. I had a friend with that name, Mike, so I should know how to say that. Associate member of the Photographic Society of America, honorary member of the New England Camera Club Council. He's had an interest in photography since the age of 10. And later in life, when he joined the Photographic Society of Rhode Island, which is the PSRI, his interest turned into a passion to learn everything about the world of photography. Mike has been a member of PSRI since 1988, past president of that organization, and past chairman of the Ocean State International Exhibition. Other organizations he's a member of, the Film Photographers Association, which he is a co-founder and president, past member and president of the Stony Brook Camera Club, current member of the Massachusetts Camera Naturalists, and past newsletter editor, current honorary member and vice president of the New England Camera Club Council, where he's presented programs at the 2007 and 2010 NECC Annual Conference. He's an associate member of the Photographic Society of America, where he was asked to create and present the 2006 International Exhibition of Color Slides at the annual PSA conference in Baltimore, and also presents his program, The Psychology of Matting Prints, at the 2013 annual PSA conference in Portland, Maine, excuse me. He is also a PSA multi-star rated exhibitor and has judged 4 international PSA exhibitions. Mike was deeply involved in photography, originally in old style film photography. He's now joined the high-tech digital world of Lightroom and Photoshop. Mike's images have been exhibited domestically and internationally, and he has earned many awards and recognitions. Mike has time for exploration of photography now that he's retired. Some of his favorite endeavors where he finds the most enjoyment are black and white printing, judging photography competitions, creating multimedia slide presentations, and presenting educational programs to help teach and promote photography. So we have a very learned and storied judge. So Mike, welcome, and we'd love to see some of your images if you brought some with you.
Yes, let me just open his email here so I can show the images.
Yeah, I sent some images in.
Matt, while you're getting those up, Melinda, you have a reminder that you need to give us?
Turn that microphone
On. Okay. Is that on? Is this on?
We
Yeah,
can
it
hear
is.
you.
It is? Okay. I just wanted to remind everybody that the round one for PSA deadline is November 5th at midnight. That's a Sunday. And the new file size is 1920 by 1080, but 1400 by 1050 is still accepted if you want to make it that size. That's all.
Oh, thanks, Melinda.
All right, Mike, if you want to tell us about your images here, I'll scroll through them.
Okay, so probably back in the 80s and 90s, I really got into sports action photography because the ESPN Gravity Games came to Providence for 3 years, and then NBC's Extreme Games came to Rhode Island the next 3 years. And I felt confident enough to go out and buy a 300 millimeter f2.8 so that I could get some of these pictures. And this is one of the motocross jumpers. I don't remember what they call. This might have been the Superman pose or something like that, but they did some pretty crazy motorcycle jumping. So I also went to a rodeo down at the Foxwood Casino in Connecticut. It was a really good event because it wasn't a big major televised event, so you could get close and nobody really bothered you trying to take pictures.
Probably looked official, Mike. I've done that a couple times.
This is another one from I believe this is the ESPN Extreme Games. We have a park, Roger Williams park in Providence, and it has a few big lakes in it, so they did some wakeboarding action in one of the ponds there. We also used to have the Quonset Point National Guard Air Show here in Rhode Island. And they haven't sponsored it since COVID. I'm not sure if it'll ever come back. But there's one of the stunt pilots down there at the air show. I call this one questionable flying.
Very cool. All right, we're going to start with our competition. We're going to have the beginner group, group one. There's 4 images. We'll go through them real quick. And then Debbie will call out the names and you can give the score. All right, and we'll start with this.
Okay, level 1. Skies over Wildwood, New Jersey, kite competition.
Yeah, we have a similar event down here on the coast of Rhode Island. You get some great winds off the ocean, and this looks like the same thing at a beach. So it's really easy to get kites flying, and it looks like you got a lot of ambitious and exuberant kite flyers, because these are pretty fancy and pretty colorful, pretty detailed kites. So your exposure is really well done. Sometimes shooting up into a bright sky, it can fool your camera meter, but You got no blown out highlights, no blocked up shadow areas. Your horizon's fairly level. Sometimes, when you're doing sports action, you're paying so much attention to what's going on. Sometimes you don't pay attention to your cropping and your leveling. But this is pretty good action. You want to score for this now, right?
Yes.
Yes, please.
6 to
Okay.
9.
We'll give this a 9.
Catching air.
So pretty much any urban city will have a skate park for the youngsters to get out there and try their skills. Here you situate yourself probably right close to one of the areas where they're gonna get the skateboard off the ground and catch some air. You got a good pose. You can see the person's face. His arms are out, so you can tell he's actively trying to keep his balance. The lighting is really good. The thing about these skate parks is usually they're concrete, so when the sun comes down, it bounces off the concrete, and you can see in his face, he's looking straight down, but his face is well lit. So that's the light bouncing off the concrete, coming back and illuminating his face. I like the positioning of the skateboarder, kind of almost in the rule of thirds coming into the picture. Cropped tight enough so that, the skateboard is very large and a predominant part of the picture. Exposure is good. It's a little soft. You probably got some camera movement going on as you're panning with the skater. If you look at the trees in the back, they got a little linear sideward blur. Skateboarder is relatively sharp. You look at his shoelace there, it's pretty sharp. We'll score this 8.
Almost in at Pebble Beach, California.
Right, so we got awesome or 5 some of golfers here working on a green. So they have their clubs and they have action going on. One guy looks like he's putting, another guy looks like he's picking at the grass for any foreign objects that might deflect his ball. Exposure is fairly well done. You have really bright sunlight and it looks pretty close to midday. If you look at the length of the shadows, they're kind of short. So with the sun high in the sky, pretty much all the participants' faces are shaded and you can't see too much detail. The one participant who's looking like he's starting to do something, putting, right on that left bottom corner, is cropped out on both the side and the bottom. So you could have sacrificed some of that top area of the misty background, panned down, and if you couldn't have zoomed out, you could have taken the woman in pink out. She's really not doing too much. She's kind of just looking down at the ground, and you could have just concentrated on the 4 other people. We'll score this 7.
Home run.
So probably either a minor league or a pickup baseball game. There's not really uniforms that kind of tell me that this is professional, but it doesn't matter. Sport is sport, and you got everybody concentrating. After the hitter here just hit the ball, he's looking where it's going. He's dropping the bat, starting to run to first base. The catcher, the umpire, the spectators behind the fence, they're all watching the ball to see just how far it's going to go. I like the low angle you got here. You can actually even see the little blades of grass sticking up in front of the dirt. Exposure, you're in the shadows, so it's almost like you got a softbox on everybody. Everybody's well illuminated. No hot spots in the white jerseys. No plugged up shadows in the black socks. Action is done well. Cropping's done well. We'll give this a 8.
All right, we have 1-9, so that's going to be our first place. And we'll review that contest later. We're going to move on to group 2. There's 8 images. So you need first, second, third, 1 HM. We'll go through them real quick.
Calm waters. Oh, sorry.
All right, now we'll start.
Calm waters.
All right, so as a kayaker myself, this is a very familiar scene. Looking across the bow of the kayak, the waters of the lake or stream. So, sports doesn't have to be professional. It doesn't have to include scoring or anything, keeping points. Sports can be recreational, and here kayaking certainly falls into that. While we don't see the person kayaking, we can be the person kayaking because it's the same view from the cockpit of the kayak. So I say this fits the bill. You have a really tough exposure here with the specular highlights on the water. You have dark shadows underneath of the trees. Your sky is well exposed. You have fairly good depth of field. Your kayak is sharp. It's fairly sharp looking back to the trees. We'll score this 7.
Ride 'em cowboy.
So you certainly have height of action here. This bull is kicking with his rear feet. We got a rider who's just about to be dismounted from the bull. So that's definitely the peak of action. The only other better action you could get from that is if he was flying through the air. But we don't want to see that happen because that could get him hurt. So spectators all up on the top of the fence, they're all lined up and keeping an eye on what's happening. They want to see how long this rider lasts. Your angle of view is probably from the spectator stands. So you got a little bit of a high view and you can see a lot of distractions in the background, trucks, trailers, and such. But we can kind of get past that if we just concentrate on what's happening here with the bull rider. Exposure's good because you have a nice cloudy day again, so no problem with highlights and shadows. I think you probably have a little softness going on due to hand holding along a lens. You have to be careful with your long lenses and short shutter speeds. If you're shooting with a 300 or let's say a 400 millimeter, you don't want to shoot any slower than 1/400th of a second while you're hand holding. Otherwise, you'll get camera movement blur. It's hard for anybody to hold Big telephoto lenses, absolutely still. We'll score this one 7.
The pitch.
So this is a really neat technique. Multiple images. Not. I doubt if it's done in camera. That would be one heck of a feat. So I'm thinking this is a post-process composite, and putting it together, you did quite a job to keep the layers separate so that you can see the back pose, the middle pose, throwing the ball, and the front pose, the ball's on its way to first base, to home plate. I like the cropping, nicely tight. The exposure is a little bit variant. Looks like your middle exposure is a little brighter than your first and your third. You could have balanced those a little better before you composited them. But this is a heck of a job making a unique image for this category. And I like to give this one a 9.
Beach cornhole on Delray Beach.
Yeah. So if you have a barbecue or a beach party, cornhole is definitely a game that's played. And these beachgoers having a little contest, and you got a nice composition where the person actually participating is between two of the other participants, waiting to see how their toss turns out. So it's a nice composition framing the person doing the action with two other people. Nice tight crop so that you don't have a lot of distracting things going on. Your exposure is well done. It looks like maybe you caught it at the point where the sun was behind a cloud. So you got a nice exposure all the way around. Your shutter speed froze that little bean bag as the girl was tossing it. Nicely done. We'll give this a 9 too.
What's the call?
So it looks like we're in a little higher professional league. With this baseball game, we got a dugout, quite a few players up there watching the action going on. We got, official uniforms, referee, umpire in full uniform. So I like the way you frame this also, tight enough so that you have the 3 participants, the runner, the tagger, and the umpire all working on the play. But I like the spectators of the other players and a couple of rows of the stands of people watching. Exposure's well done. Your shutter speed has, everything sharp except for the movement of the player sliding into the base. Looks like third base. So that gives me a little sense of motion, little dynamic action to the image. I like that. As long as everything else is nice and sharp, well exposed. A lot of good images. We'll have to break some ties. We'll give this a 9.
Gotcha.
Another rodeo shot and calf wrestling. There's a good sense of, the calf with, 3 feet up in the air. The cowboy just probably, dismounted his horse, grabbed the calf and brought him down. Exposure's a little under. We basically can't see too much detail in the black calf there. Everything else is a little bit muddy, so could have used a little more exposure. If you were close enough, you could have used the flash. They actually have teller extenders that you can put on a flash. It has a little Fresnel lens on the front that'll concentrate the light and give your guide number a little more push to get the light out there. Unfortunately, in this position, we don't get to see the cowboy's face. We got the back of his head. So that's not the best of conditions to photograph the action. This image will be scored 7.
The tag.
So there's always, the sports for, disabled people. And here we have wheelchair baseball or softball. That's a big ball there. And someone's trying to, evade the tag. We'll see, how well this turns out. I like what you did with the cropping. Usually I'm not too fond of the novelty cropping, but I think this really gives a sense of motion with that diagonal crop on the top of the frame. Gives a little more dynamic action to this image. Exposure's well done. You froze the action. It's probably peak of moment. If the person actually got to tag them, that would be like the peak of moment. But you can see the grimace on the runner, or he's trying to evade the tag. The other person's got a determination on their face that going to get him. The only nitpick I could probably do on this is you cropped the man's toe off in the bottom left corner. Hopefully you had that space to give him a little more room to move in the composition. We'll score this 8.
The turn before the finish line.
So horse racing, certainly a sport. You have a nice exaggerated horizontal panel here because you don't need much more of the dirt on the bottom. You don't need all that greenery in the background. All you want is to concentrate on these 4 horses, turning the last corner for the finish line. So exposure is very well done. No blown out highlights, no plugged up shadows. Your action, your shutter speed, you have the dirt frozen in midair, so that's a perfect shutter speed. It's nice and colorful with the jerseys of the jockeys. Some good head movement of some of the horses. You have one jockey that's fully hidden behind the horse's head, another one partially, but for the most part, you're getting a good sense of the action here. We'll score this. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 too.
All right, we've got 4 9s. I need my first, second, third from there. Bring up the thumbnails. You should be able to see it at the bottom. I'll go through them. This is image 1. Image 2. Image 3. And the 4th image.
Okay. Let's let's leave them right in the order they are. So the first one's first, the second one's second, third one's third, and the fourth one, I guess, will be your HM.
Okay. All right, now we'll review this contest.
Level 2 awards, honorable mention. The turn before the finish line, Walter Blitz. Congratulations, Walter. Third place. Beach cornhole on Delray Beach. Also Walter Blitz. Congratulations, Walter.
Walter gets around.
Yeah,
What's that? Yeah, actually, that was supposed to be second. Why did that show up as third? Hold on 1 second, because that's showing up incorrectly.
Yeah, I think that baseball slide was third.
Yeah, so why did that show up like that? 1 sec.
Dastardly technology. It's great when it works.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go back. Third place. I see what the problem is. They both got third place. So we have to fix this one. Assign award. Fix that. Fix score error. There we go.
No,
No.
I'm fixing.
Yeah. Other way around.
it's still
I'm
saying
trying-
third place.
I'm trying to fix it because the problem is both of them are third here.
Yeah.
So how do I make one not third anymore? Hold on. Technology's great when it works.
Hey, you're stealing my quote.
So if I do that now, both are, that's not what we want. Sign award.
I never had that happen, Matt. I don't know what to tell you.
I guess I hit 3 on both instead of 2 on one. How do I fix that though?
You can unmute Tom if you're not sure. He probably would know.
Yeah, he can unmute himself actually, but I'm not sure. How do you unaward them? Yeah, what the fix, that's where this is, fixed score, but then it doesn't allow me to
There
take
you
the.
go. That's right.
Yeah, but now they're both say second. That's the problem.
Ah,
I got 2 seconds now. I could change it that way. How do I get rid of one?
Tom, do you know how?
I'm trying to think back now. Yeah, try clearing the score. Just go bring up the second or whatever, whichever one you want to change.
Fix score error and then just delete
Now, well,
maybe?
now, is this truly what
There-
you want?
There we go. Okay,
Both second,
so now this is a third
right.
and now this is second. There we go. Okay,
Got it?
perfect. Now we can review it.
Now I can go back to sleep.
Yeah, you go back to sleep time. Thanks.
So whose is this, Matt?
Hold on 1 sec.
Can't be Walters. He already got 2.
It could be Walters again. I don't know.
No,
right.
because he already got an HM now, and we know he got a second.
Let's review. Review.
All right,
Walters.
so Walter got the HM.
And here we go.
There we go. What's the call? Wayne Baruch. Congratulations, Wayne. Second place, there we go. There's Walter again. Congratulations again, Walter.
All right, moving on. Group 3, we have 22 images. There's a first, second, third, and 4 HMs. We'll go through them real quick.
So Matt, can
And
you
then
give me a little longer look at these?
I'll give you a half a second longer.
Oops.
All right, here we go.
This is gonna be tough.
Sorry.
Up and away.
Okay, so some wrestling going on here. An inside shot, we can see the suspended ceiling up there on the top of the image. Warm lighting indicating some maybe incandescent lighting. Used a bit of fill flash, which kind of corrected the colors. So you got pretty much the peak of action here. Looks like this guy's going to get body slammed. We got great grimace on the wrestler picking up the other. A nice tight crop. So you pretty much eliminated, any spectators or any other distractions that could be around. Exposure's fairly well done. Pretty well frozen. Depth of field probably is maybe a little shallow, but fine image. We'll give this an 8.
Crack goes the bat.
You couldn't time this any better. If you did this with one shot, I'd have to really give you congratulations. But with, burst speed on so many cameras, it makes it a little easier to get these, moments. That's full contact. You can actually see the bat deflecting after he hit the ball. So you got good exposure, good shutter speed, and that's fast action, and it's pretty well frozen. Nice tight crop. You got another person on deck behind the batter. You got maybe the coach over there on the right, spectator up above. The depth of field is perfect just on the batter here. The background is softened and muted. Nitpick, the one thing you could ask for, is if his helmet was a little higher and you could see his eyes. Because whenever we, take pictures of people and we view pictures of people, it's always eye-to-eye contact that we go for. But this is a great image. It's going to be a 9.
Stretching for volley.
You know, this is another peak action image. You probably would never realize how much a tennis ball deflects when it gets hit with a racket. It's practically flattened in half if you look at that. So again, peak of action. You know, you couldn't get it any sooner or any later. That's the best exposure. Well done. You got a fine crop here. Tight action. You know, the exuberance of the person. You know, almost looks like she might be biting her lip as she's, you know, lining up this shot. You know, the stretching, the diagonal position of the tennis player shows, you know, the effort. Looks like it's probably an indoor court, or it's next to a building. The only thing that holds it back is, you know, the background is kind of distracting with all the little cubicles back there and some people. We'll score this 8.
Family fun ride.
So you got the little road demons here with their training wheels and all, ready to go to the races. You set up a nice 45-degree angle so that you're shooting across the whole line of the riders there. So everybody's got, you know, their face in the picture. Again, the tight, exaggerated horizontal panel fits the picture composition. Don't need any more road. Don't need anything more of that building in the back. Exposure is well done. There's no harsh shadow, so again, it looks like you're on a cloudy day, which helps you get a nice balanced exposure. This image will be scored 7.
Soccer force.
All right, so when this image first came up, I was looking for the ball above the soccer players that are up in the air, and now with a little few seconds more, I can see the balls in the upper right corner. So that adds a lot to the image, that you actually had the implement of the sport, the soccer ball, in the actual picture. So you have a good exposure, even with the bright sunny day. Good shutter speed. You froze the action of these players jumping. Ball's a little blurry, but that's fine. Again, you cropped it into a horizontal panel, which, you know, eliminates as much as you can of that background. It's a nice image. We'll score this 8.
Keep your eye on the balls.
So looks like a penalty kick going on here in soccer. Lining up, trying to, you know, prevent the kicker from getting a shot on goal. Definitely peak of action going on. You got one player jumping, balls coming in. You know, there's a lot of emotion going on. You know, if I had to say which one of these 4 players was the most, you know, exuberant, it would definitely be the one on the left there, jumping with the grimace on his face. But if I had to say which one of these 4 players was the smartest, it's the second from the left, because he's protecting himself. You know, my one nitpick with this image is I think it's too tightly cropped. I know you want to try and eliminate background distractions, but we cut 3 of the 4 players' feet off. So, you know, we don't really have them, you know, ground it. We don't know if they're standing in the grass or if they're also jumping. So, I would suggest when you're shooting action sports, frame it a little loose because you can always crop it in post-processing. But if you end up, with too long of a lens, or you zoom in too much and you end up clipping a head or feet, you can't bring it back. So this image, as great as it is, we'll score this 7.
Just a little dust.
So, you can have, blurred bat or blurred ball to show a sense of action. But this here is basically a static shot. Here we have the catcher. He's just caught a ball from the pitcher. And the only thing that gives you a sense of action is the dust coming off of his catcher's mitt. And that tells a whole lot. You set this up perfectly to get this kind of image and emphasize that dust. You have it backlit, so the light's coming from behind, it's going through that dust, and it's lighting it up against a shadowed background. And that background is the pads on the fence around the field. So it's nice and plain, so that dust and its detail shows up really well. Yeah, I love everything about this image. The exposure, even for backlit, that black chest protector has detail all through it, but there's no blown out highlights. Wonderful image. This is a 9.
Pass the ball.
Okay, we're back to the disabled basketball players. You got, the action going on of, like the title infers, passing the ball. Everybody's concentrating. He's trying to, get the ball to his teammate. So he's eyeing it up, passing it on. The opposing player in the back is out of position. He can't do anything about it. You got a nice tight crop. So you eliminated a lot of, background stuff. Maybe a little too tight. We don't get to see the wheels of the wheelchair actually in contact with the floor. So again, this could be a case where you frame a little loosely when you shoot and crop it in to just what you need in post-processing. But the action's great. The exposure's good. We'll give this a 8.
Cowtown Rodeo.
So Cowboy here looks like he's getting taken for a ride. He's got the bull by the horns, but the bull is pretty well running along with this guy hanging off his neck. He'll put his feet down, sink him into the dirt, and then twist his body weight to get that calf off balance. But you're showing a lot of action here. Your shutter speed shows the dirt frozen in midair. And as fast as the shutter speed is to freeze the dirt, the action of the cowboy is still moving and a little blurry. Yeah, it does give a sense of action to the image. But I think maybe it's also a case of being low light, and you really couldn't get fast enough shutter speed to get the exposure triad to work out. The one great thing about digital nowadays is push that ISO as high as you need to go to get a shutter speed to freeze the action, because you can always denoise an image in post-processing. You shoot 1600, 2400, even 3600. if that introduces noise, you just bring it in and denoise it. And Adobe now has this new denoise that you can work on raw images. You have to use it exactly first. You can't do anything else first. You have to do that first, and then it saves it as a separate DNG file that you can then work on with your other adjustments, contrast and such. But really good image. We'll score this 8.
Jubilation.
So it looks like a track team, and they must have had a good day at the track meet, because they're all happy and they're jumping. Maybe they all, won a race. So as much as I can't say for sure. I mean, it says finish line over the runners here. So it may be a cross country team because it's not a track track and field event. Probably more of cross country on gravel trails and such. But it's framed well. You just got the uprights of the finish line flag on the sides, finish line sign on the top. You got the girls, pretty much dead center. Again, freezing it in midair with a nice fast shutter speed. You got the depth of field. Everything's pretty much in focus, well exposed. Just for the exuberance, of these four girls on the track team, it gets a lot of emotion. You receive a lot of emotion out of this image when you view it. This image will be a 9.
Formation.
So bicycle racing's always fun. They used to have it in Providence, back I don't know, 15 years ago, but haven't had an event in the city, and it's great fun because you can find the corners where they'll be coming down a straightaway and then they'll just dive into the apex of the corner, which it looks like they're about to cut across the road here and turn left. They're all looking the same direction. They're all trying to maneuver to see if somebody can cut in front of someone else and pick up a position. You got a really nice sunny day. Again, the gray asphalt is bouncing light back into their faces, so there's not too many faces that are not well exposed, even though they're looking down. Again, the nice tight crop of the exaggerated horizontal panel works perfect for this image. I would give this image a 9.
Kick.
So this is almost like a theatrical, either a concert band playing or a performance by an opera or something like that. You have all kinds of theatrical things going on here. The spotlight that's throwing the flare into the image, and the starbursts do the aperture blades, reminiscent of like a rock concert. These two wrestlers, they're performing. It's not, well, it could probably be audio. I mean, they're probably grunting, they're probably growling and stuff like that. But it's more of a dance, and they're setting up each other for whatever their moves are. And here, the old drop kick to the face. One guy is going to fall flat on his back. The other guy is going to be probably the victor, standing above him. You know, the lighting in here, it's kind of funny because you got the chandelier and you got the Christmas lights with the fabric. You know, you might see that in like maybe a wedding venue, and you know, maybe this is a banquet hall where they have weddings, but right now they're having a wrestling match, and it's quite a bit of a different twist. Exposure is done well, even with the flare. I mean, that's the nature of this kind of lighting. You can't go without it. It's strongly backlit, but you probably used maybe a little fill flash on this, and got it well exposed, and the action is pretty well frozen. Your cropping, you know, shows a minimal amount of spectators down on the bottom edge of the frame. It's actually, you know, pretty, you know, I want to say it's funny because, I don't know, I guess we all know that wrestling is not for real. It's somewhat staged. Yes, they do fall, they do take hits and stuff, but it's almost like a choreographed dance routine, and you caught it very well in this action. I'm gonna give this a 9 too.
Zooming past.
You know, pan blur is a wonderful technique to show motion. And if you pan with the same speed as whatever's going by you, here a bicycle, probably a triathlete here, you get a tack shop bicycle rider, and your background has the linear horizontal blur as your camera is slicing sideways through the panorama. So this is a wonderful job of freezing motion while you move the camera. You know, this rider from, you know, arms and hips up is tack shop. His feet are pedaling, so they're going to be a little bit blurry. And forget about the spokes of the bicycle. You can't see those because they're spinning so fast. Wonderful exposure, wonderful capture of shutter speed, nice tight crop, very colorful, and another 9.
Touchdown.
So you got the receiver catching the ball. You can tell he's in the end zone because of the painting on the grass, or AstroTurf. Probably college football with the uniforms. They're not professional because I don't recognize the uniforms for professional. You got a really tight crop. You got frozen action. Ball's frozen in his hand. The runner's frozen as he's trying to get his feet down. The defender trying to tackle him, but too far behind and too much out of position. Your tight crop minimized a lot of the background. I would have cropped a little more off of the left, just to, you have somebody in maybe a brown jacket with stripes over there. You know, I would have cropped right between them and the girl with the black jacket, just so you didn't have someone hanging on the edge. The guy in the orange on the right, you really can't do anything. You can't really crop in any more on that, otherwise you'll lose the foot of the defender. But another great job, great exposure, great freezing of action, and another 9. I'm gonna have to break a lot of ties.
Criterium term, Tour of Somerville.
So here, maybe this is moments after the other bike image as they're turning the corner. But now here's a tip for you. When you have action coming towards you, it's a lot easier to freeze it than when the action is going across your field of vision. So while the riders in the back coming at you seem fairly sharp, these riders all in the foreground going across your field of vision are all very soft. And while some softness, shows a sense of motion, here I think it's detracting because your eye wants to go to what's sharp, and what's sharp is not the important stuff in the front, it's what's in the back. So you got a great exposure, nice tight framing is nice, but this image will be scored 7.
In stride.
So polo ponies, I can see the red shirts say Newport on it, I believe. And we got a Newport polo team up here in Rhode Island, so maybe they traveled down to New Jersey to play one of your teams down there. Or maybe you were up here in Rhode Island vacationing and took in the polo match. In any case, a nice bit of framing. I like where you don't have like a half a horse hanging anywhere on the edge. Tight framing to minimize distractions. You will have spectators at all these kind of games, so you never can get them out of the picture. The frozen action of the hoofs, and most of them in midair. The ball's frozen. The mallets are all frozen. Very good exposure, even with the bright sunlight. Nicely done. We'll score this 8.
The agony of the seat.
Sometimes the titles make the picture that much better. Yeah, this looks like a bareback rider. He's hanging on for dear life. He's getting quite a jostling here. The horse is doing its best to throw him. I want to just move my webcam. I want to see if this hand. Oh, yep, his hand is on the top of the frame. My webcam hangs over the edge of the monitor, and I just want to make sure that hand was in there. Exposure right on the money. You got some bright areas in here. You got the black mane of the horse, but both have detail in it. The action's pretty well frozen. While I've commented that I've liked the tight crop to eliminate distractions in the background, I'm kind of missing the horse's hoofs in the bottom of the frame. I'm really thinking that probably would have added another aspect of excitement to this image. This image will be scored 8.
Perfect pitch.
So definitely a little eager here. Honing his craft as a pitcher. And again, peak of action. Ball's just been released from his hand. Focus is well done. Shutter speed is well done. There's just a little bit of blur in his arm and the ball, but that's what's moving fastest in this action. I like tight crop, maybe a little tighter just to get the scoreboard off the top. Crop it in just below that scoreboard. Because anytime you see words you know, the human eye wants to read them, and being out of focus words, that they attract your eye away from this player even more. One other thing, I think this image is probably a third to a half stop overexposed. It's a little bit too bright, especially the roof of the building in the background, kind of pulls your eye away. So you could post-process that and bring the exposure down, contrast up, a little dehaze, and that'll bring that picture into perfect exposure. This will be scored 7.
Take a breath.
You know, I've always wanted to photograph a swim meet and never got a chance to. So I'm always in awe when I do see these kind of images. You know, you're indoors, lighting sometimes can be tough. But this is really nice lighting. I love the specular highlights on the splashing water, the water washing over the skin of the swimmer here. You got him just as he's, you know, coming up the highest out of the water to take a breath. Pretty well frozen in action with the water hanging off of his arms. Tight crop. You know, there's not anything I can really say that, you know, you could have done to make it better. So we're scoring another 9.
Base jumping.
So this, you know, falls in with the extreme sports. You know, got a perfectly good bridge, perfectly good parachute, and put them two of them together, and you do something crazy. But you know, they're adrenaline junkies, so you know that's a sport to them. So well framed. You know, the bridge and the parachute are separate. They're not merging over one another. The parachuter is in the front of the leaves of the trees, but you can still, you know, see the silhouette of him pretty well. And I'm basically considering this, you know, a silhouette image. There's a little bit of color here and there, but it's basically monochrome, and basically in deep contrast. You could have even pushed it that way all the way, you know, desaturate it, go for the black and white, and that might have even made it a little more dramatic, because a lot of times you usually used to get black and white images in the newspaper. So while it's exposed well for this silhouetted technique here, and framed pretty well, action's frozen, we'll score this 8.
Surfing USA.
So there's always some kind of comedian in the bunch, you know, whether they go skiing, you know, in a bathing suit, or go surfing in a Captain America suit. Somebody's always looking for a little humor, and it adds a story to the image. Also adds nice color, you know, pretty much a monochrome sea there with not much color to it, you know, faded blues and greens. The horizontal gives you a good sense of the line of the waves, so that helps the composition. Pretty well exposed, maybe a hair. Well, I mean, the surf is not overexposed, but the froth of the waves is a little overexposed. So maybe you want to do some isolated post-processing just on the froth of the waves, and bring back a little bit of the texture and clarity and detail of that. This image will be scored 8.
Hey sis, wait up.
So these aerial obstacle courses great fun. I've done this a few times with my fiance, and it's harder than you think, and it really puts your sense of balance and skills to a test. I like the way that you frame this with the two participants, you know, a third from each side, so it balances the composition. The colors are all working well. The blues and the yellows are complementary colors, so they work well together. Exposure. Excuse me. Exposure's done well, even with the bright light. I mean, the girl's face is probably in the shadow of the steel girders, so maybe if you waited for her to take another step forward, maybe her face would have come into the light. But you don't have the ropes in front of their faces, so that's a good thing. We'll score this 8. So how bad did I do, Matt? Did I give too many 9s?
All right, we've got 8 9s.
Oh, geez.
So we'll go through them real quick. This is image number 1. Image number 2. Image number 3. Image number 4. Image number 5. Image number 6. Image number 7. And the 8th one. And I can go back and forth as much as you need to figure out first, second, third.
Okay, so yeah, I'll give you first, second, and third. All right, so stop there. That's going to be first.
The baseball player?
Yep.
All right, first.
Okay, that'll be second.
The catcher?
Yep.
Okay.
Go down to the
And we have
football
this
player.
one.
Go down to the football player making the touchdown. That'll be third.
This is third, okay. And the rest are HMs.
E. That was really tough. There was a lot of high quality images there.
I didn't know so many people shot sports.
You know, it's a wonderful thing. And you know what? Everybody usually has some chance to do that, because if you have kids or grandkids, they usually play sports some way or somehow, and you just go to see your kid or your grandkid play and take pictures too, you know.
Definitely. All right, we'll review this contest and we'll take a quick break and then we'll move on to our last group.
Okay.
Okay, level 3, honorable mention, jubilation, Melinda Matlack. Congratulations, Melinda. HM formation, Ed Horniker. Congratulations, Ed. HM The Kick, Bob Perrine. Congratulations, Bob. Zooming Past, Matt Rank. Congratulations, Matt. Take a Breath, Valerie Williams. Congratulations, Val. Third place. Touchdown, Terry Donofrio. Congratulations, Terry. Second place. Just a Little Dust, Rose Scuderi. Congratulations, Rose.
All right, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll have to go through the last group fairly quick because we have to be out of here by 9:55.
Okay.
Anybody wants to unmute themselves, they can.
And action's pretty well froze. You got your main character in sharp focus. Back players are a little soft, and that's okay. It gives a sense of depth. But I think it's a little overexposed, maybe a third of a stop. We'll score this 7.
Messi versus Ronaldo.
So we have, struggle going on here, trying to get the ball past the defender. Looks like he's hanging on to his arm. Could be a penalty, but, who knows? A nice sense of action going on. They're both looking at the ball. You have a good sense of action, low camera angle so that you can see up into their face as they're looking down. Exposure is very well done, and frozen action. We'll score this 8.
Throwing the Stones Scottish Festival Highland game.
Wow, it's okay. So the title definitely helps this out because when I first saw that, I thought he was throwing a meatloaf. But talk about expressions. He definitely has a look of determination on his face. He's all poised to hoist this this stone. Nice tight crop. So it's definitely concentrating your view on the athlete here. Looks like you might have did a little compositing with a background, a soft blurred background here. You got a little haloing going on around his arm, it looks like. But it's a good shot and nice pose. 8 points.
Long jump.
Certainly peak of action. He's high over the sand pit, waiting to come down and set his feet for his measurement for his his leap. You got down low so you can look into his face. Good exposure. It's a nice soft shadowy light. Tight crop. He's sharp. Background is soft. That depth of field is just where it needs to be from his toes to his face. This is a 9-pointer.
Part of a reenactment group.
So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on meeting the subject matter. Reenacting, yeah, kind of a sport. I mean, the shooting weapons, yeah, that's kind of a sport, I guess. So you did a nice tight crop on 3 of the brigade members here, catching that middle guy really in a moment of concentration. Got the tongue hanging out there, doing a Michael Jordan type of thing going on. Image is contrasty. You got light on his face, light on the hat on the right, shadowed face on the left. So you're really fighting for a good exposure. Got a fair one done. I think you could have brought out a little more in this in post-processing, with some recovering highlights and shadows and putting a little more clarity and contrast in it. We'll score the 7.
Good catch.
So peak of action, receivers going up for the ball, defenders trying to pull it away. You got some other players, they're out of position, but they're coming in for a tackle. Good exposure. Action is pretty well frozen. It's a little soft. Not sure if it's camera movement or slower shutter speed. We'll score this 8.
Goalie saves the day.
This just has all kinds of excitement going on. I mean, the look on his face, the hair, as he's falling down, his hair's going up. The bright colors, the yellow, the reds, the greens, they're all complementary to one another. The blue in his uniform. Frozen in action, great depth of field where it needs to be from the ball to the net. This is a no-brainer. That's a 9.
A little low.
So, sometimes the pitchers try to get the batter to just, go for a bad pitch, but I think this bat is a little too smart for the pitcher. He's just going to watch this dribble on by. So you got frozen action, the ball's sharp, good exposure. I mean, one pants leg is kind of blocked up with no detail in it. So you could have done a little work on that. Cropping is good. We'll score this 8.
In for the landing.
Similar to the other long jumper, a little more action going on in this, similar to the goalie with the hair up in the air as she's coming down. The hair is still up. The look on her face, the position of her hands and feet, she's trying to get as much out of this jump as possible. Frozen action, good depth of field because I like the other contestants in the background out of focus. Just a bit overexposed, maybe a quarter to a third stop, but that's a 9.
I got it.
Okay, another field hockey image here. A little better exposure on this one. More players in the action. Got the one girl there concentrating on trying to get the ball and moving it upfield. Everybody's chasing. Sometimes, the positioning of players is a little awkward. And in this case, like they say, when you shoot a nature image of a duck or something, where you talk about getting the south end, I would have waited and let the play move downfield and get a little better positioning of the players. But we'll give this an 8.
Kayaking with my best friend.
Man and his dog, it's companionship going on there. Out there enjoying the kayak through the river. Nice placement. You got heavy light going on here, but enough of bounce light up into the kayaker's face where you got detail to see his mouth, his nose, the sunglasses. I like the reflection in the water. Adds, a little more color to the image. We'll score this 7.
Coming round the bend, Monmouth Park Raceway.
So when you have multiple images, the same type of image in a competition, whether it's 3 lighthouses or 3 horse races, when you see them, you unconsciously judge them against one another. And I believe the other horse race image was much better. We could see the jockeys' faces in the other image. This one here, you can't see any of the jockeys' faces. I feel like there's a little bit too much going on. All the horses on the right side there, those 4 horses there, are pretty much getting obscured by all the dirt and mud being kicked up. So while it's exposed well and it's frozen, like the horizontal panel, working for the composition, against the other images in this group, this one's going to score a 7.
Into the home stretch.
So perfect angle of view down low, so that you could actually see this contestant's face. Good freezing of action. You have the spokes pretty well frozen, so you're really shooting at a high shutter speed. All sharp in the foreground. The background's a little softened. That's nice. There's some distractions back there with trash cans and a yellow caution tape and stuff. But this foreground is pretty compelling, and it's cropped well to minimize as much as you could. So we'll score this 8.
Princeton football.
All right, so we got another football action going on here. Runner coming through, looks like he stiff-armed, number 35 and pushed him to the ground. So 71's going to have to pick up the slack. A nice, again, horizontal panel to concentrate the action in the composition, minimize the distractions. Exposure's well done, but we're soft. I mean, there's really not much that's in focus except for maybe the referee, who's probably not moving as fast. So this one will be scored 7.
In the air.
Yep, they certainly are. Both going for the ball. Who knows who's going to get it? You never know. It may have gotten to the players already, and it's on the way away. But here's a nice composition, nice clean background, good exposure, good freezing of the action. I love the colorful shoes, but they kind of take your attention away from the players and their faces and the ball. But it's a 9.
Target lost.
Skeet shooting, yeah, that's a sport. And this would be like really tough to time the clay pigeon getting blasted by the shot. But you get the smoke coming out of the muzzle of the shotgun, so it went off, and maybe he got it, maybe he didn't. Good framing of the shooter in the box. The clay pigeon, it's out there in a good place, right against the dark background of the trees. Well done. Not sure that we really need his feet in this. I'm thinking there might be distractions down there. We'll score this one 8.
Focused on the win.
Again, another nice shot of this this athlete. I like that you got low again, so you're looking into to his face. There's good exposure, and I'm trying to judge the shutter speed and whether you got something sharp in focus. I'm not sure if you had too shallow of a depth of field. Looks like the middle of the bike might be sharp, but he could be moving, and that could be what blurred his face. I think it's got a distracting background. Looks like you tried to vignette it a little bit heavily. That's a bit much for my taste, at least. We'll score this 7.
Alrighty, we've got 4 9s. I need a first, second, third from there. This is image 1, image 2, image 3, and your 4th image.
Okay, so image 2, the Goldie will be first,
All right, first place.
and the first image will be second.
This one here, second.
And the last
So-
one will be third.
This image here.
Yeah.
All right, so this is 1 HM. And now I need 2 more HMs out of 7. So this is image 1. This is image 2. This is image 3. This is image 4. This is image 5. Six. And the 7th.
Okay, so you need 2. It'll be the first one and the 6th one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one?
Yeah.
All right. All right, we'll review this contest, and then you just have one more task, and that's going to be the best of show.
I'm ready. Honorable mention. Messi versus Ronaldo, J.C. Roy. Congratulations. In for the landing, Deborah Aniano. Congratulations. Into the home stretch, Joe Gilchrist. Congratulations. Third place. In the air, Lynn Padwy. Congratulations, Lynn. Second place, long jump, Joe Gilchrist. Congratulations.
All right, give me 2 seconds. I'll put together the best of show, and then you'll have to choose that.
My apologies if I talked too much and took too much time.
We should make it out of here on time.
So I like Lynn explained to me how you have your meetings open to anybody who finds your website. I'd like to also extend an invitation to your camera club to look up psri.us. We have a policy where you can become a free member for 30 days and see our meetings and see what we're about and see if you'd like to join. And we do hybrids. We pretty much do all meetings live and on Zoom at the same time.
Okay.
All right. I would tell you to send that information over to Lynn so she can get it out to us.
Okay,
And that way, if anybody is interested, we'll have the actual link to
excellent.
send it to people.
I'll send it to you.
Um,
I'll send it to
all
Lynn.
right. Sounds good. All right, so we have the best of show, which is the 4 groups, the first places on each group. I will show you them all to you. And then you can go through them as much as you'd like to look at them and decide which one you want to be the best of show. So this is image number 1. This is image number 2. This is image number 3. And this is image number 4.
When you take the best of the best, it's tough to pick one over the others. I got 2 favorites, and I think it'll be this one.
This one here is going to be the best of show?
Yep.
All right. And then we'll review the contest. And then that'll be it.
Best of show. The Pitch by Rich Polk. Congratulations, Rich.
Group 2's first place?
Yeah, that was group 2.
Okay.
Oh, Matt. Crack goes the bat. Matthew Rank out of group 3. Congratulations. Skies over Wildwood, New Jersey kite competition. Zena Motley Weaver out of the first group. Congratulations. And the best of show is Lynn Padwee, goalie saves the day. Congratulations, Lynn.
That's an excellent
any
image,
of-
Lynn. Everything's going for it. There's not a thing wrong with it.
Are any of you guys online that won?
Yeah, let me see who's online that won. Since we didn't have anybody talk about their images. Zena's online, so she can unmute herself. You want to tell us about your image, Zena?
Yes, I love kite competitions, and I went to this one here in Wildwood, and it was I was surprised the shot came out so good. It's my first time taking an accurate picture of kites, so this was exciting. Thank you.
And Rich? Rich here?
No.
Rich left, right? Okay. And my image was taken at Little League in Delaware, where they actually had some dirt fields. Because I don't have any of that around here. And this just happened to be luck that I captured pretty much the ball just leaving the bat. So
Great image, Matt. That was my other favorite.
thank you. And then Lynn, unmute yourself.
Okay, I did. I really don't take sport pictures, and I had no sport pictures, and I just said to Terry, you got to take me somewhere where I can get some shots. So we went to the Monroe game last week, and I really worked on this. Debbie's not there, but I showed it to Debbie, and she said, oh, you have to do this and that and this, and I did it. Took stuff out of it. And this was really a practice. It wasn't even part of the game. It was before the game. And Terry told me what to do because I don't know soccer, all I know is pickleball. And he said, check out the goalie before the game because you might get some good diving shots. And I was just pretty lucky. But thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I liked
Very
a lot
nice,
of
Lynn.
the shots here tonight. You guys got some really fine photographers down there. Congratulations, and I want to thank you for the invitation, inviting me down to judge. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you. We're gonna clean up here because we have to be out of here by 10, so we only have a few minutes. And I appreciate your judging, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, can we please define?
Thanks, Mike.
All right,
Thank you.
take care, all. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Whatever. Matt, we need to define next month's competition.
We'll send it out in an email.
Okay.
Too many people left the meeting already, so it doesn't matter.
Well, the only reason I wanted to find is because I just wanted it clear that there's no monochrome